Hey, what's going on? Happy Friday. Thank you so much for tuning in. I am Deborah. This is Purusha Intuitive, and we're going to be looking at the collective energy for today, February 23rd. So welcome in. These messages are always timeless whenever you fall upon them. If they resonate, then just know they're meant for you. If there's any question around that, hopefully not. It's cool, because Spirit loves to speak to us through symbolism, synchronicities, in whatever way we're open and willing to hear. And it gives us such good guidance and direction how to navigate things that we don't really feel very clear on. That's part of the reason why I got into this type of work. It's really beautiful how that value of as above, so below, as within, so without, right? So the universe, the stars, it's actually pretty badass. If you have a chance to look into it, the map of the stars are actually the same blueprint that is for our body. And I just, there's just so many beautiful, magical things about life. And when we tune into these more subtle layers, we can actually figure out how to co-create with those things, right? Like tapping into that magic that we all have, that limitless potential that we all have within us. So if you follow along, I love to start out with an energy cleansing. That's why I have this burning stick of Palo Santo. I'm being respectful, letting the fire go out when it's needed. And this is just a great time to set intention, right? If you have a question, if you want to know something around a situation, person, place, or thing, you need some specific guidance, just set that intention in your heart. Ask Spirit to deliver that to you, whatever you resonate with, Spirit, God, universe, however that fares for you. This is also a really good practice to clear out any blocked energy or things that are just heavy weighing that we really don't need. It's like a form of breaking things up, like chopping things, breaking up the energy, so to speak. When it is stagnant, it's hard to get it moving again. And that's what we're in the process of doing right now, especially with our hopes and desires, what we're trying to obtain, what we're trying to bring into our world. I'll talk a little bit about the astrology because this is taking its time, but there is a little bit of resistance and tension, in our physical world right now. We're not seeing the results that we love, especially as it is directly related to our fortune, that Jupiter energy. It is the great benefact. That's where our wealth, our prosperity comes from. So look at that placement in your chart, and really understanding how to work with that energy will allow you to be way more expansive and really kind of hit those higher levels of success and achievement that you're looking for. All right, let's clear it out. I bless you with pure love and light, pure source energy, pure love and grace. I release anything that is blocking the highest and best messages, any fear, anxiety, doubt, uncertainty, anger, resistance. Help us to let that go. Help me to be an open and clear channel and allow us to receive that which is needed. Thank you, Father God, Spirit Guides, Guardian Angels, Mama, Amen. All right, so it's Friday. Yay to the weekend. I love Friday energy because it is ruled by the planet Venus, and I am a lover. I love love. We all need a little bit more love. Life is just so chaotic. And as an added layer, we're going to be we'll have a full moon tomorrow, in Virgo. I'm going to upload a video on that tonight, I think, sometime today. So stay tuned. But yeah, the full moon has a tendency to bring out all the crazies. And it is legit true. I was at the park yesterday and it was very interesting. There wasn't a lot of people there, but the people that were there was a lot of drama and chaos. And it was just kind of funny. And it reminded me how, I think that there's a lot of layers to a lot of different things, right? But people can get so easily triggered, and it sets things off. It gets way too sticky, stickier than what it needs to be, etc. So the Muse is talking about that value of being generous, not only with ourselves, but with others as well. We see 3 cups in this depiction. It reminds me of that 3 of Cups energy. Having a sense of naivete, innocence, curiosity is what I'm hearing. Don't be a doormat, not about that. But this actually surrendering, maintaining innocence and curiosity is what is going to bring you the clarity that you're looking for, the clarity that you need. It has been a little just like emotionally jarring lately. And especially, as I said, like astrologically, we have way more support from those outer planets. The outer planets really connect to our spiritual life path, that element of the subtle layers, sensing, intuition, all like the spirit world, all that kind of stuff. Where like Mercury, Venus, Mars, Jupiter, and Saturn are all considered internal planets. So that's what we're seeing more in our day-to-day activities. And Venus and Mars are on top of each other right now. So I hear this message as twofold. There's part of our masculine, feminine energies, or the way we're showing up in partnerships that are really conflicting with one another. I keep hearing that we're at war, right? And I'm not saying it in a dramatic way. It's just that's how it feels. Hopefully it's not that bad. Maybe you are dealing with someone who's just being very difficult and drawing that line in the sand, that 5 of Swords energy. We'll see how it plays out today. But like I said, there's a lot of competing factors around what we want, what we have to do to get there, how we want it to make us feel, and then how people are showing up around us. And it is this energy of being more self-reliant. Yeah, so the gambler in our environment, loss, risks. So this is something that, I'm hearing this message in a few different ways. Engaging in this energy, it is going to actually create more loss for you. Maybe you're taking a risk around something right now and it just is not feeling right, is what I'm hearing. It looks good on paper, but something about it is just not clicking. It's not working. And you can't necessarily put your finger on it because it feels a little chaotic at the same time. Sometimes when we are in those chaotic situations, it's hard to see things clearly because there's so much going on, so much distraction around us. I also feel like this energy speaks to someone or something who is very unwise with finances, the way they handle money. Obviously, when we gamble, we take risks. Sometimes they pay off, sometimes they don't, or even like a lot of times they don't. Not to be a Debbie Downer. I love the lottery and scratch offs and all that stuff. But there is that value of, addiction that can come from gambling, etc. Being smart with how we indulge in those things, right? Not overdoing it, And especially with the way that this card plays out, one hand in this depiction is, gilded with jewelry, rings. They have all the money on their side, right? And then the other person is kind of left with nothing over here. So it definitely feels like that energy that we've been seeing lingering around of, it's a hoarding mentality. Like I want more. Actually, I was I took a walk this morning and I was out in nature and I could hear that same message being channeled, that it's like, it's so selfish, to the point of never even being aware about your wants, your needs, what is best for you, or how you can find commonality and balance. It's someone who's incredibly selfish. So be really conscious about how this is playing out for you. I like you coming through as the Tailor because it really reminds me of this element of refining, or mending, right? Like if we get a hole in a shirt, I don't know if people sew anymore. I mean, obviously there's like the fashion industry, but I really like to sew. It's like a fun little hobby to create. But the deeper layer is, it's like we're in this refinement process, right? We have to pay attention to the detail, and we have to have pride in the work that we do. So if we're in a situation where we're dealing with someone who's just like, I don't know, a little shady, we don't fully trust, something about it smells off. Let's just leave it at that. They don't even have to be a bad person, right? It just might not work between you two, is what I'm hearing. You're in this process of still figuring out how that all translates into your practical world. How is, like, okay, so I know this isn't feeling right for me. Why? You know, is there something about this that I need to explore within myself? Or is this really just some like greedy MFer who is taking advantage of me? And we really have to pay attention to those signs right now, especially today being the day of Venus. She is the feminine principle. It's all about love and nurture and support. And really, honestly, truly, I was contemplating this. We need that kind of support, whether it's from ourselves, the people that we keep in our environment, in order to navigate all the craziness in this world. We don't want to constantly be in these war zones with bombs dropping off left and right because people can't handle their shit, right? And if that's how someone wants to live, allow them to do that. That's on them, right? But we also can establish our boundaries as to whether we want to put up with that or not. The witch. Yeah. So this, especially if it is like some shady energy, it is someone who's trying to control, manipulate. This vibe has been coming through in previous readings. That's why it feels a little ominous to me. Whether this person does magic or not, magic can be as simple as setting intention, right? Even our thoughts, our words can be quote unquote magic. You don't have to believe in the woohoo, but I do think it's real. It does exist, right? That's why it's like transcended time because people do that stuff. And again, it comes back to that point of intention. You know, I don't really like to fearmonger because I think at the end of the day, your power is more powerful than what anyone else can throw at you. We just have to be able to stand strong in that power and not be so porous. This is someone who's meddling in your business, and it doesn't feel good. Like, I don't know. I don't think it's like the worst. It just feels manipulative is what I want to say. It feels like there's some level of trust towards this individual, or you hope, you believe in the best is coming from them. What they say makes sense, but it's almost like, again, it still doesn't sit right with you. And you're trying to figure that out. You're really blocking this heart principle today with the poet, relationships, vulnerability. So the poet really just reminds me of like when we're in love, you know, and that's usually at the beginning. Hopefully it sustains your whole relationship. And this is not just about love. Yes, it can be if that's what you're dealing with in your situation. But this can also just be someone we connect with. It feels so good right off the bat, right? It's that honeymoon phase. And then reality sets in. Is this sustainable? Is this actually going to work? And I feel like you've been combating this reality that doesn't really work, but you're trying to make it work, you know, because you're all about refinement and believing in the best and wanting the best situation or the best result to come from it, especially if there is commitment involved, right? When we commit to something, we're following it through. And I definitely feel that energy coming from you. But at the same time, it's putting you more in this head space versus heart space. You're forgetting to honor that part of your heart where we find like excitement and passion, right? Like when we are in that honeymoon phase, everything is brighter, it is lighter, it is the rose-colored glasses. Obviously, I get really excited about it now, but it's fun. It's like a really fun energy to experience in life. And honestly, I believe that like that is where our pure potential lies. That concept I was saying about the ability to support ourselves, or when we think about unity consciousness in its whole form, that is where all creation lies, right? So you know, we need to be able to tap into that source in order to like love and enjoy our life is what I'm saying. But right now you're blocking that energy, you know, and I think it's because it's fear, right? Dotting your I's, crossing your T's, making sure you're doing every little thing right, which is fabulous, you know, good for you. Like, I think that's good, right? To have follow through and principles, but also know that, you know, I don't know if you're trying to prove something to someone, or prove something to yourself, or someone's making you feel like you have to jump through all these hoops in order to be worthy and valuable. All those could be true, you know. Okay, so the shepherd. So needing a little direction. I really hear this as celebration family. I really hear this as like seeking out a mentor. This could be someone in your family, someone you've known for a long time, preferably an elder or someone who has experience in what you're dealing with. I feel like you need a little direction, you know, and not direction from someone who's going to control and manipulate, try to get what they want out of it while you're over here like busy doing all the work, picking up all the pieces, making it function, etc. This is more about really listening to the wisdom of your heart, ancestral lineage, if that's something you ascribe to, wisdom of the elders, right? This value of not being afraid to seek help and guidance and direction. You know, sometimes our friends, the people we hang out with, play with, etc., can have the best intention with their advice, right? But it could come from a very superficial standpoint. And I think that that's where you're afraid right now, because you don't want to make mistakes. You do want to make sure that you're doing it quote unquote right, whatever that is, you know. It's charting new, it is really pushing you in a new direction. I feel like all this energy is allowing you to unfold into the newness that is coming, into what we see with this transition of Pluto into Aquarius, where we're allowed to be more heart honoring with our wants and desires, you know. Unfortunately, we've just been combating like all these lingering past energies that are a little destructive, that, you know, or it could even just be past patterning, right? Places that, you know, we've gotten used to doing something a certain way. And we've just found that actually it doesn't really work anymore. It's counterintuitive actually with how we want to live life, with how we want to show up in life. All right, let's get some clarity on the gambler. Who is this? What do we need to know about this gambling energy? Oopa, I gotta resituate. I might take a sip of coffee. Sounds good right now. Okay, 8 of Pentacles. So interesting. This does, you know, obviously 8 of Pentacles, even with the gambler, it really speaks to a lot of finances, right? This might be someone we work with. Queen of Wands energy is Aries, Leo, Sagittarian energy. Okay, and this is someone or something that I think that they're trying to make a lot of changes, but again, there is kind of like this overall energy of a little bit of greed and selfishness. They're a little fiery. That's what it is. Like, obviously, with that fire energy, the Queen of Wands. This feels like someone who has a really hard time balancing themselves. And that could be why they're so greedy, right? They want a lot, they demand a lot, and it feels very exhausting is what I'm hearing. Okay. Where you're just trying to move through, like, I think you're trying to keep a higher perspective. I think you're just trying to do what you need to do and move through things. You know, you're going to give it, I feel like you treat it with love and care. And I think even more so with this person. Yeah. Even though this person is combative or like doesn't agree or is trying to force their agenda on you, you're still coming through with like, you know, this might work for a minute, but I'm really going to need to assess my options moving forward because it doesn't fit with me. There is something that's off about it. And even if you don't know what it is, even if you don't have that clarity around it, this is really about making things happen. And that's the thing about this witch energy, which connects you to, is it's this value, like, again, back to the concept of intention. We can use magic for good or for ill, right? And if we're approaching it in this way of like knowing it's just a period of time, listening to your heart, whether it works for you or not, which it seems like it doesn't, because there are a lot of heavy undertones. It could be like you getting yourself into a situation that you just walked away from, you know? And I think that that's kind of, again, where this poet comes into play. When we don't listen to our heart, when we don't listen to what we want, we wind up back in patterns that we're comfortable with, you know? So maybe you are really comfortable with, you know, people who are pretty intense, order you around, you know, not that you're necessarily subservient, but I think I'm hearing it for you. You don't want to rock the boat. You just kind of want to move forward. You're trying to get to the smoother waters, right? You're not trying to create more drama, more hubbub. And I think your heart is good with this Page of Cups. It might be a small offer. It might be something that maybe you're putting on yourself, like you should be doing better. Like a lot of shoulds is what I'm hearing. But at the same time, I hear that Spirit's just saying, like, there's a reason why you're seeing things the way that you are, and really listen to that. Nurture that, right? This is a lot of water energy here for you, right? Listening to that feminine principle of our emotion, our feeling. Why are those emotions coming up? What are they connected towards? And to me, this Nine of Wands is really this Phoenix energy. I mean, obviously, I think it's like depicted on there, Deborah. But Nine of Wands doesn't specifically mean that, really. Like in the traditional deck, it's like when, you know, we've been through it. We've been through the ringer. We're like bloodied and beaten, and we feel like we don't have much left, but it's almost done. And I feel like this is really a final layer for you to work through, you know, and feel a little bit, it's almost like you're really integrating the learning lessons that you have been experiencing over this past year, over the past couple years. You feel a lot stronger in your point of view. And that's why you know it's not right. That's why you don't want to get too sucked into this. That's why, like, it's like you're keeping your, you know, yourself, your energy at arm's length, right? Having that 3-foot personal space box around you. Yeah. And I feel like once you do make the connection with someone who can give you some guidance that actually resonates with your heart, you're going to see, it's going to like completely break up. It's going to ease this energy a lot. It's not going to feel so heavy and repressive. Because right now you're kind of like, I don't really want to deal with it. Like you see it for what it is. You're seeing it, you're seeing it, you're seeing it, but you're trying to just like rise above and move through, right? But there is still this part of you that wants things to change, and Spirit is saying that that change is coming in. It is here, but you need help. You need help in a different way from what you've been getting right now. And honestly, it really shows that it's going to be opening up new beginnings. Yeah, I love this 8 of Wands with the Cartographer, because this really talks about how these new opportunities are going to come in as soon as you're able to like surrender and let go. I feel right now the downside of this tailoring energy is we can be in this constant state of refinement. Yeah, we can refine anything until, I don't know, like forever. I guess everything can constantly be refined. But we also have to know when it's not worth our time and our energy anymore. And this feels like the more that you can kind of put your energy out there, seek some help, some support, advice around this situation, it's going to make it way easier for you. And then I feel like you're actually getting this clarity as well. You're seeing your next steps just that much more easier. The universe. Yeah. Okay. I love this. Sorry, I can't really read them off. I'll do my best. But yeah, so this is really kind of that principle, the magician energy of being in control of your universe, right? Not giving your power away. You know, just how that those threads, the threads of fate, are interwoven with the world, with the universe, and being able to really like kind of leave your stamp and your mark. It doesn't mean it's bad or wrong if something doesn't work. It just means it doesn't work. And the less emotion we can put into it and just acknowledge that and say, you know what is the best decision for me? How can I best control my situation and make it heart honoring for who I am and what I bring to the table? But part of that is asking us to surrender, recognizing, I'm hearing like the tree of life in this depiction. It's also that value of like nature and its cycles. We're so used, just in society in general, we're in the masculine energy constantly. It's push, 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 make happen, go. There's no work-life balance in the US, I should say. I don't know if that's, you know, I can't speak to other countries, but it's this value of like, you know, we have to remember that principle of surrender, of rest, restoration, because that's just as important for refueling, for giving our energy in the right places, working smarter, not harder. And that's really what this is about, right? Like, why keep people, places, and things, these obstacles in our environment when it is too much, it is too overwhelming, it's, you know, we don't vibe with it or whatever it may be. Sacred sexuality. I love this. And I think a lot of this is getting rid of these types of things because Spirit has something that is like way more heart honoring that's coming in. And it does kind of feel like the total package. Again, it doesn't have to be romantic or just about sex or whatever. Sacred sexuality is really that principle of like honoring that experience, right? That harmony and the coming together, the union of the masculine and feminine energies. And so if we think of it in that light, it reminds me of that power couple value. It reminds me of like coming together with those people that it clicks, it feels right, you know that it's going to be a good thing. And unfortunately or not, like, this person stopped working on things a while ago. They're approaching their change in their own way. And it's very selfish, you know? And so I feel like there has been this underlying theme of like really, yeah, dare to dream. I love that, you know, of really kind of grabbing what you want, not being afraid of that, not being afraid to claim it and say, you know, irregardless of what outside people, places, and things think, I'm actually going to honor my heart first. And a lot of that comes through the way we take care of ourselves. So wellness is a huge component, right? Mind, body, soul. Ayurveda talks a lot about daily routine, times of eating, the way we should eat, how we honor our body, meditation, yoga, rest, etc. Plugging all those values into our daily activity actually just like helps us thrive that much better. It's not about being some like skinny bitch or, you know, I don't know, I don't know what the equivalent for dudes is, like a beefed up, you know, whatever. It's about just like honoring who we are. And that's what today is about, the feminine principle, that Venus energy of just honoring your heart, your mind, and your soul, and not putting up with this kind of BS anymore. It's not worth it, right? And that's really what we're letting go of right now. So I hope this message helped. Thank you for your time and energy always. I really appreciate you. Definitely drop comments below. I love to support, hear how it resonates in your life, and just know that I'm sending all the love and blessings your way. I hope you have a fabulous Friday. Stay tuned for the full moon video. I will be back. All right, have a good one.